Welcome, everyone. This is The Daily Share. I'm Mike Alanos. What a day. Donald Trump, Paul Ryan meet. We'll have that. We're going to meet and speak with Carly Trent's dad. That's coming up, but I still can't believe this headline. George Zimmerman is auctioning the gun he used to kill Trayvon Martin. Now, that auction was supposed to begin about an hour ago, but the listing appears to have been taken down a short time ago. Why? Who took it down? Zimmerman? The site? Somebody else? We're on top of that detail, but here's what we do know. Opening bid, $5 grand. The bigger question, what's he thinking? Here's George Zimmerman talking to WOFL in Florida.
I thought it's time to move past the firearm. And if I sell it and it sells, I move past it. What I've decided to do is not cower. I'm a free American, and I can do what I'd like with my possessions.
We know that shooting in 2012 rocked our nation. Zimmerman ended up being acquitted as the jury believed his claim of self-defense. Another element, the raw emotion from coast to coast. Let's take a look back.
This guy looks like he's up to no good.
They were the 911 calls that shaked our nation to its core.
Now he's coming towards me.
I don't know what's going on.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need you to do that.
So you think he's yelling help? Yes. All right, what is your...
They've killed my son, and now they're trying to kill his reputation.
He's a nice guy in a horrible situation.
Our son is your son. Yes! I want you guys to stand up for justice.
George was viciously blindsided by a nose-breaking attack.
Trayvon Martin did not have a gun.
George has never said that Trayvon touched the gun.
I pledge I will not let my son die in vain.
Again, the taste of some of the emotions there. George Zimmerman adds the gun was recently returned to him by the Department of Justice and says the proceeds will be used in part to fight Black Lives Matter, the movement. Well, he claims that because of Black Lives Matter, there's violence against police. He wants to fight against that. And a, quote, anti-firearm rhetoric forwarded by Hillary Clinton. Now, Trayvon Martin's family, that is, issued a statement through the Trayvon Martin Foundation and basically saying this. The Trayvon Martin Foundation is committed to its mission of ending senseless gun violence in the United States. We are laser focused on furthering that mission. As such, the foundation has no comment on the actions of that person that murdered Trayvon. Joining me, someone who followed this very closely, our HLN legal analyst, great criminal defense attorney, Joey Jackson. Put down the legal hat for just a minute. Your personal reaction when you saw the headline, Zimmerman auctioning the gun he used to kill Trayvon Martin.
In one word, Mike, and good afternoon, appalling. You know, the fact is that, listen, you know, as a criminal defense attorney, I certainly recognize that people have their right to trial and fair trials. I stand in courtrooms and I yell and shout, you know, as often as much as I can, representing those rights. But the reality is that at the end of the day, we know he's acquitted. There was a child that died here, and whether a jury cleared you or not, sometimes it's about decency, sometimes it's about humanity, and all the time it's about exercising the best judgment we possibly can. And I think this fails in all regards of the items I just mentioned.
Unarmed teen dead, and we just heard a moment ago the emotions from mom and dad. All right. Now put the legal hat back on. Is Zimmerman doing anything illegal here, Joey?
In terms of legalities and illegalities, no. The fact is that, you know, when you are cleared at trial, what happens is they certainly take your property in the course of trial, particularly if it's arrest evidence, but thereafter it's returned to you, and it's something that's returned to him as long as he follows all of the protocols within that jurisdiction. As long as he follows the protocols, you know, of the website, he's allowed to sell it. Doesn't make it any less right that he has a right to do it. Sometimes, you know, we have the right to do it. It doesn't mean that we should do it, and that's just my issue here.
Got it. John Phillips is joining us. Now, John Phillips, wrongful death attorney, and he was also the attorney for Jordan Davis's family. We remember that, and I'm really paraphrasing here, but that was a racially charged case. Jordan, an African-American teen, shot in a dispute over loud music. Michael Dunn, the shooter, ends up convicted in that case. So, John, hopefully we got that out there, just your stake in all of this. So, well, give me your reaction first. Zimmerman's auctioning the gun.
Well, we were shocked last night when we saw it. You know, I'm glad to see that maybe the website's got it down now. But there's a coin for this. It's called murderabilia. And some states have outlawed it, and certainly it might not directly apply to this one because he wasn't convicted.
All right. So, and stick with you, John. So nobody, and Joey laid it out there, Zimmerman's not doing anything illegal. But on the other side, can anybody do anything to stop this?
You know, it's going to be tough. It's certainly morally and ethically reprehensible, but hopefully the court of public opinion can weigh in here and be the jurors needed to stop this auction from happening.
Okay. You know, we got a chance to look at this auction post, and here's a couple of the quotes, guys. One of them is, "I am honored and humbled to announce the sale of an American firearm icon." He talks about this firearm being used to end the brutal attack from Trayvon Martin, talk about being a piece of history. The Smithsonian wants it. By the way, the Smithsonian issued a statement saying they do not want it. Joey, on the other, so there's that. You know, when you talk about some of this language here, and the Smithsonian does not want it, but somebody might. If we remember, there were people lining up to help fund his defense, right?
Yeah, well, they absolutely were. And in terms of what my good friend John Phillips just mentioned, I think this is something that may fall upon the public. And based upon the outcry and based upon the outrage, perhaps the voice was heard, and perhaps that's why it is down. And just to be clear, so that the viewers know, Mike, what happens is, and John Phillips referred to it as murderabilia, and that absolutely what it is. In the event that you're convicted of a crime, it changes the equation. There are so-called son of Sam laws out there named after a notorious killer in New York where they state you cannot profit from your crimes. And so that is absolutely out there. The reason it's not applicable here, Mike, so the viewers know, is because, again, he was acquitted. So as a result of that, that doesn't apply. But again, I am hopeful that based upon the public outcry and the outrage associated with the poor judgment and lack of humanity here, that it will be taken down, will not go back up, and will not be made for sale and for auction and for profiteering.
Yeah, we're staying on top of that just to see what the backstory is behind all of that. One other note here, and by the way, speaking of, you know, I think Zimmerman even talks about the case number being written on that gun as well as the selling point. Opening bid, if it ever happens, $5,000. Where's the money going to go? Johnny's talking about proceeds fighting Black Lives Matter, violence against law enforcement, coming against Angela Corey, the prosecutor who prosecuted him in the case, and Hillary Clinton's anti-firearm rhetoric. You think he sees himself as some kind of an activist now?
You do. Just based on his Twitter post when he had a Twitter account, you know, he's this super ego kind of guy. I imagine that money will probably go to Cheetos and Mountain Dew, or his own legal defense fund, as he's gotten in a lot of trouble since the Trayvon Martin trial ended.
And Joey, on the flip side of activists, I'm sure a lot of people wonder, okay, you were acquitted. Why are you back in why can't he just stay out of the spotlight?
It's a great question, and we see it all too often with him doing something, whether it's a domestic violence issue, dispute, road rage while you're on the road, et cetera, et cetera. You know, I could only imagine, based upon sometimes people feel emboldened as a result of their acquittal, and, you know, I gather he just feels that, you know, I want to be out there, I love the spotlight, and it's just grossly unfortunate that we continue to have to keep hearing from him, and he continues to inject himself into the public discourse. But I would imagine, again, if enough people stand up, instances like this and instances like him trying to sell a weapon that killed somebody will not be allowed to carry the day.
Yeah, you were just looking at that auction post, been taken down, so we'll see how that all plays out. But again, the headline, the gun used to kill Trayvon Martin being auctioned off for money. An unbelievable headline there. John, Joey, guys, thanks so much. All right, we're going to stay on top of this case as well. The uncle who police